everyone, it's Anthony back with another video here on Single and Placing. Hi. I hope you're having a fantastic day, weekday. Oh, it's so sunny. Weekend, week, month, evening, morning, overnight, all of that good stuff. I hope it's a good one, or it's been a good one. Hi. We are doing a vlog today. We're in the car. But it's going to be a little bit different. I got tagged in a set of tag questions, diamond painting related tag questions from the one, the only Rachel Ray. So thank you so much, Rachel, for including me in this tag. That's awesome. So I'm going to be doing this kind of walking Apollo kind of dog park style, responding to the questions. But I'm really hungry first, so I'm gonna get some food. I think I want pho maybe, or just like a spring roll situation. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna get food. We're gonna go back to the house, pick up Apollo, and then head over to the dog park. I felt like that would be a good place to just chat about these tag questions, so we'll go through all of those. And then I do have some, updates, just some life vlog kind of chit-chat stuff to go over anyway, so we'll see how much of that I can do after the tag questions. Otherwise, maybe I'll do that in a separate video. I'm not sure. Either way, it might just be a super long one because I do have quite a bit to talk about, but I wanted to do these tag questions because it's been like over a week since I was tagged, and I felt like I needed to do them. And there's some pretty fun questions. I think they'll be great for those that maybe discovered my channel during summer with the masters or are new here. It's a lot of kind of like, let's learn about your diamond painting life kind of stuff. So we're gonna get into it, but first I need to eat something, pick up Apollo, and then I guess the next clip will be us starting our little walk/hike through the dog park. So yeah, we'll see you on the next clip. Bye. Okay, I believe us to be recording. Yes, full battery. Empty memory card, perfect. Okay, hi everyone. We're going through the tall grass area of the dog park. I was gonna go on a different path, but there was a lot of dogs milling about the entrance, so I decided that we should go the long way, but they have not mowed this area. They keep certain parts of the dog park or the dog walk clear or just like cleaned up. But this, unfortunately, is not one of them. So we'll probably hop off of here, this trail soon, or this path soon, and cut over to the more open area ones. So yeah, let's see how the boy does. He hasn't necessarily been cooped up, but we did get a ton of rain on, what was that? On July 4th, like actual July 4th, we got a ton of rain. And then the whole next day when I was at work, he was in his crate. It rained all day, so we only went on a short walk. So we did go to the lake and walked around there 2 days ago. And then yesterday, wow, you're peeing a lot. And then yesterday we did, at the time of filming this, we did a 2-mile walk/run around the little trail by the house. So I think he's gotten a fairly good amount of exercise recently, but nothing full on like off leash. So be careful for the cactus, dude. The cactus are blooming and they've got these beautiful flowers. If I can cut in some, maybe I'll take some photos as we're walking and cut them in at the end, maybe. Okay, so yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. This is a tag video. I was gonna sit down and do a tag whip-in chat, but I was like, you know what, that's not really me right now. Been doing much more vlog styles and catching you up while I'm hiking and walking. So I was like, let me do this my style. And yeah, I do plan on doing a more sit-down whip and chat or chat video here soon, but it's like, let's let's get outside and do something. Take the boy out. Sorry, just stopping to take some pictures to include, yeah, the cactus. They're like these really pretty yellow blooms that the cactus put up, and they're gorgeous. So, but I do have my phone for reference because I need to check the actual tag questions, and then I was watching some other folks that have done this tag question video already, and I might need to pull up some info on my phone as we go too. So I've got that at the ready, but let me pull up the questions. I don't know, let's see. I don't know if everyone hand wrote the questions in their video. I know Miss Coffee did. So let me pull up her video. That way I can read the questions as we go. Miss Coffee, where are you? Miss Coffee. There's Rachel's. Miss Coffee. Miss Coffee, where are you? I'm looking for your questions. Where is it? Okay, let me just pull up her. Okay. Sorry, everyone. I'm just trying to pull up these questions. Probably should have already took a screenshot of them or something. Okay. Q&A. That's not it. Where is it? Where is it? It's like a week ago. Whip and chat questions. So yeah, and I think she received these from Michaela Renee. I'm not sure if that's the originator of this particular tag series, but yeah, Michaela Renee. Then it came to Miss Coffee to Rachel Ray, and Rachel Ray to me. So here we are. Let's go off the beaten path here because I want to get back on the main trail. Look at all these wildflowers. It's gorgeous. It even smells. It smells like fresh flowers out here. It's beautiful. Okay, I don't want to play the audio. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Okay. Pause that. There we go. More. Okay, cool. All right, so let's get started. Hi. Hello. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to let Apollo off here in just a second. It's a little breezy, so hopefully the mic is doing its job. We may get some rain coming in, but I don't think it's going to be severe. You can probably see the storm clouds off in the distance, but hopefully we get through enough. Okay, how many diamond paintings have you completed? That's question number one. So I looked it up. As of today, I have completed 28 diamond paintings. So yeah, I think that's another question, but I think that's a pretty good pace. I've definitely slowed down this year because of just the size of some of the kits that I've been working on this year. Things are slowing down a little bit, but 28 as of July 2023. Question number two, how many diamond paintings do you currently have in your stash? I don't have a good number right now. Apollo. Apollo. Oh boy. Apollo. I don't think there's any deer and stuff out here. His new favorite thing is rolling in poop. He did it again when we went up to Grand Lake for 4th of July. And I was just like, come on, man. But I don't think there's any deer and stuff here. Oh my goodness, fast dog, holy moly. Whoa, fast dog, come here, come here. Oh, you're so cute. Yes. Oh, he's got grass all over him. Okay, how many diamond paintings do you currently have in your stash? That is not something I have offhand right now because I have been really slacking in keeping up with both my Google Keep and my Google Doc, my Excel or Google Doc spreadsheet ever since I did my D-stash last month. I've purchased a couple of kits since then. Let me do my best to give you that number. I'm gonna just pull up Google Drive, open with Face ID, okay. What Drive would like to send you notifications, that's fine. Okay, let's switch to single and placing stash. This will at least give you, I can give you a rough number. So I want to say, so that's 65. I want to say 70. 70 is probably a good number, including any kits that I have on their way and stuff that I've purchased. My Google Keep says I have 65, but that is not taking into account some purchases I've made over like the past month. And then I have a sneak peek kit on its way and a Jaded Gem Shop kit on its way. So I'd say, yeah, let's just say 71, I think is probably the true number. 71 kits in my stash. I was in the 120 range there for a little while, but I destashed nearly 50 kits last month, which was so awesome to kind of clear out my stash of some kits that they just weren't sparking as much interest as they once did. So that was awesome. And yeah, so let's say 71. I'd like to get it down by the end of the year to finishing all of my, current active projects, and then maybe getting like a couple more done, but who knows? But yeah, 71 kits in my stash as of today. Number 3, when did you begin diamond painting? So I started diamond painting in February of 2022. So I've been doing it for about a year and a half now. And yeah, is there a question of how? I don't think there's a question of how I got started, so I'll go into that. So back then, I was working at a different job, and my new boss and I just were completely different people from a social level, like just not on the same wavelength at all. She was much more, just a little bit more introverted, seemed like she might be a little bit more socially awkward and a little bit more reserved. And I tend to have a pretty big personality, so I felt like I was like kind of scaring her a little, or I just wasn't getting a lot from her. She was very nice and all that stuff, but it was kind of like, you get there, you sit down, you work, you go home, and that's kind of it. Let me take a picture of these flowers. So I was trying to find inroads with her, common ground, things that we could chat about together. And she had all of these like Disney character and like seasonal themed diamond paintings hung up all around her like cubicle kind of desk area. And I've never seen the craft before, seen those before. So I was like, what are those? Are those little beads? She was like, yeah, it's, she called it diamond dots. Like she referenced it as the brand name. And, but most of hers were just from Amazon. And I was like, oh, cool. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll try this. I don't mind a little hobby or interest. I don't mind dabbling. And so I purchased one off of Amazon, and the rest of, I just kind of fell in love after that. I really loved the process. I loved the fact that I could kind of zone out a little bit. I'm also a very linear person. I tend to believe that I'm not incredibly like free form creative, but you give me like Legos or Connects or something where it's like this goes here, you put this here, it's very regimented. I love that kind of process. So I just really enjoyed it, and yeah, it just kind of blew up from there. But yeah, that was when I started, was February of 2022. Okay, next question. Oh no. I love Mrs. Coffee's nails in this video. They're gorgeous. Okay, help me. This always happens to me where I can't get back to the description page. Oh gosh, come on. Okay, I'm gonna take a screenshot of this, that way I don't have to keep doing this. Apollo, come here. Okay, I think I can get almost all of it. There we go. Okay. Sorry. I'm just screenshotting it. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to keep fussing. So, okay. So, question number 4. If you could only purchase from one diamond painting company from the rest of your life, who would you purchase from and why? Geez. You have to come after me like that? Okay, so, and that was question number 4. So I do have an answer for this, but there's going to be quite a few of these that I want to preface with, these are like gun to your head, kind of just like free thinking questions. I don't ever take these tag questions to be like, this is 100% what he thinks and there's no room for flexibility there, and it's just, a yes or no, like, you know what I mean? Like, in the sense that I would never want a company that I do shop from and use to feel like, because I didn't pick them as my, deserted island company, that I don't like them. And I know I'm sure there's most of the shops that I purchase from, and owners would not take offense to a random tag quiz response. So, but I just want to preface that with, this is just me speaking in this moment, and things could change. I never would tie myself down to a single shop. But anyway, but going forward, I'm just going to answer these straight up without any preface like that. Just no one take offense, and no one clutch their pearls. This is just how I feel. But it's not all I feel. Okay, so if I had to pick, if there was no other option, or let's say I was in a position where I couldn't buy from another shop and I only had my last $100 to get a diamond painting kit, it would be from Jaded Gem Shop, bar none. Jaded Gem Shop is a company or a brand that checks off every single one of the boxes that I look for in diamond painting. It is the complete package for me. And it's a one-stop shop, and that's another reason why it would be my favorite overall, or what I would purchase from forever, is I can get pre-made, pre-charted kits. I can get cross-stitch conversions. I can get customs. Jade can work on cropping stuff for me. I can do pre-packaged cross-stitch conversion kits. She even has some ready-to-ship kits. I can get just drills. I can get just canvases. I can get pen tips. I can get pens. So it's like anything and everything I could ever need within the craft of diamond painting, I can obtain from Jaded Gem Shop. So, and the quality is, quite frankly, the best that I've used in the industry. There's a lot of really awesome, amazing quality shops, but when it comes to the combinations of drills, canvas, symbol clarity, all of that stuff, Jaded Gem Shop, in my opinion, just simply can't be beat. The only thing that would potentially be something that I could say, is she ships to order, which I think is she orders from her supplier based on the orders that she gets. So it's not like she's got a million kits sitting in a big warehouse to pull from and ship right away, which I think is a smart business model for the size of her company. And it gives her the freedom to be more eclectic with her art pieces and take risks. But that just means that you get your kits a little bit later than you might with some other companies that have big warehouses and shipping facilities all over the world and that stuff. So that's the only thing that, is something to think about. But for me, now that I have a stash built, I'm not worried if it takes a month, 2 months from the time I hit order to the time the kit shows up at my door, because of, the 71 kits that are already sitting in my house. So I'd say, oh my gosh, look at him running through the meadow. He's such a cutie. He's probably running to get in trouble. Hey, Apollo! Apollo! I'm not going to worry about it. I can see exactly where he's going. So yeah, Jaded Gem Shop is my favorite, or would be if I had to pick only one. Thank goodness I'm in a position where I don't have to. But if it ever came to that point, I would place an order with Jada Gem Shop, or send her an image to make me a custom of, or a cross-stitch conversion of, or make a crop of a picture of Apollo, or just send me the like I can do it all. So, and it's fantastic quality. So Jada Gem Shop is my my pick for if I only had to pick one. Look at these cactus flowers. Apollo, come on, come on. He's staying on the path now. I wonder if he stepped on a cactus or something and learned his lesson. Okay, moving on to the next question. You can tell when I'm in a good mood because I get very sing-songy. When diamond painting, what is your go-to media to consume? Audiobooks, podcasts, YouTube, etc. I'm pretty eclectic, but once again, if this is a pick one thing, give us a straight answer, it's podcasts. Podcasts outweigh all other media that I consume when I'm diamond painting. I love podcasts. I have for a very, very long time. There's one podcast called How Did This Get Made? It is a comedy podcast where 3 comedians talk about and review movies that are so bad they're good. So think like Sharknado, The Room, Drop Dead Fred, let's see, what else? Just a lot of like crazy movies like Ernest Goes to Jail, a lot of like the Lifetime movies with Melissa Joan Hart. Was that Lifetime? Maybe. Anyway, so just a lot of movies that are just like, they make no sense. How did this happen? But then they find a lot to love within those movies and just the craziness of some of those movies. And so that podcast has been going on for, I want to say close to 15 years. And I started watching it pretty much at the beginning. They started with I think Burlesque was one of their first movies. And I just love those comedians. And so, yeah, podcasts. I do like a true crime podcast, but I like a true crime comedy podcast. I don't like the ones like Crime Junkie, or those ones that they just play it really straight. I like a little levity added to it because those true crime stories can wear on me, and they can. I mean, as they should. They're horrible, horrible stories, but if there's opportunity to add some levity to a tough topic, then that's where my heart lies. So Wine and Crime is an excellent podcast. It's a true crime comedy podcast where 3 friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents. So it's like these 3 gals from Minnesota who just pick a different topic, and it's not a specific crime. They'll pick a topic of like crimes at sea or fast food crimes, and each of them picks a different case to cover that relates to the topic, and they usually pair it with like a wine or a cocktail. And so, yeah, and for anyone that it has that feeling of like we should never take criminal acts or that type of thing lightheartedly, they're never making light of the fact that someone lost their life or something tragic happened. They're just making light of some of the absurd things that led up to it or after it, that type of thing. But I don't know, I feel like a lot of people aren't able to see the difference in that, so they get mad when you try to mix humor or levity with something serious. So that might not be for everyone, but that is the only way. I'm interested in all those cases, but that's the only way that I can learn about that stuff without getting to like a dark place, So that's a good one. There's another podcast called Savor, and that one is about different foods, and they just talk about the history of the food, interesting facts about it. So like, we're gonna learn about brie, or we're gonna learn about sauerkraut, or something like that, and that one's really good. There's 2 podcasts, Stuff You Should Know, which just talks about really interesting like historical things. And then there's a alternate podcast called Stuff They Don't Want You to Know, which just kind of talks about weird history, conspiracy theories, and like debunking them. It's not like a conspiracy theorist podcast necessarily. It's more like how weird is, like, let's just talk about it in a free form, non-biased way, and just some of the humor behind some of that stuff. So like the whole flat earth thing or that type of stuff. But they also talk about like just odd happenings in history, like just weird stuff. So that one's good. I'm trying to think of any others. There's a ton. I'll pick up anything. There's another true crime podcast called True Crime Obsessed, and that's with Patrick Hines and Jillian Pensilvali, and they are both comedians, and they talk about true crime documentaries. So it's almost like a recap of a documentary. So there was a documentary about the woman who had hot coffee spilled on her at the McDonald's, and like kind of the truth behind that story. There's another, they do other big ones like The Staircase, The Jinx, Lorena, all the heavy hitter true crime documentaries. But the reason I like that is, once again, I like a little levity. I like to feel like I'm chatting with friends about this deep, dark stuff. And sometimes those documentaries they play it very straight, very serious, which of course I understand, but it's nice to almost hear them talk about the documentary, and it's like you're chatting with your sassy friends than it is to watch it. So a lot of these documentaries I've never seen because that's not the format for me, but I love hearing them talk about it in their eccentric kind of wild personalities. And so like, you know, there's like a murderer and Jillian will do her impression of him, you know, or, you know, of them, because, you know, a lot of times these folks are absolute monsters. So a lot of time they're poking at fun at their oddities and just how awful they are. So think of it like that. Once again, I don't expect everyone to want to bring humor to sadness. So, but I think that's how we all work through a lot of stuff. Anyway, so those are just a few podcast recommendations. I listen to those almost consistently while I'm diamond painting. I love them. I subscribe to a lot of their Patreons to get extra content, all of that stuff. So, but I'd say Wine and Crime is probably my number one favorite podcast. Okay, what is your favorite category to diamond paint? Landscapes, fantasy, animals? I took a look at my finishes because I have them all recorded on Google Keep. I took a look at my finishes to see if there's any themes there, and I guess I don't really have one. I'm pretty eclectic. If I look at my finishes and what I'm currently working on, I guess a theme for me would be female subject, either like, you know, a portrait of some kind or a female in the image somewhere. I'd say about half of the diamond paintings that I've finished have some sort of female figure in them, or one way or another. I don't necessarily think that's associated with what I prefer. It's just that so happens to be the art styles that I like have women in them. Now, if there was a male figure in all of those, I probably would have picked them just the same. But just when it comes to a trend, that's what I see. But outside of that, I don't really lean on one thing or another. It's more about just like what artwork calls to me. Obviously, I guess old masters could be a style or a theme that I really like too, and I'm collecting more and more of those. But even looking at my stash, even in those old masters images, it's almost always, well, there's going to be a lot of women in them. So I guess women would be images depicting women in some form or fashion tend to be what I purchase the most of, because I see a lot of beauty and strength in a lot of those images, but once again, and power in those images. But once again, I probably would pick up a couple if they focused on a male figure. But yeah, I hope that's a good enough answer. Otherwise, it's just like anything and everything. Like I've got it all in my stash. Maybe not so much fantasy in like dragons and, you know, in dragons and castles kind of sense, but I do have fantasy as far as like odd images. Okay, moving on. What is the artist you have completed the most diamond paintings from? Ivy Dollamore is my number one. I've completed four Ivy Dollamore kits: Midnight Laundromat, Moon Thief. Oh no! I thought I had it memorized. Okay, let's go back to our Google Keep. Google Keep, where are you? Help me, help me. Okay, let's go back to finished. Okay, sorry. I have completed Her Summoning, The Moon Thief, Cauldron of Myrrh, and Midnight Laundromat from Ivy Dollamore. So that is the artist that I have the most finishes from. What is the artist you own the most diamond paintings from? So I'm assuming this is not completed, and that would be Yume Art. Yume Art is Yume Art and Ivy Dollamore are my two favorite artists in general, just in life. When it comes to diamond painting, not necessarily for like fine art and stuff, but yeah, digital artists of the modern time. Ivy Dollamore and Yume Art are my two favorites. Yume Art is starting to pull out ahead. Come here. Only because, come here, easy. Not only because I'm starting to gravitate a lot more to some of her newer pieces, but also I really, really appreciate Yume's. Oh,
thank you.
Yeah, no problem. You too. Yume's support of the LGBTQ plus community, and the fact that she took it, she just really stood up for us as a community when people were not so happy with some depictions or some artwork that she did during Pride Month. She didn't back down. She stood up for herself, and she stood up for all of us collectively. And so that just brought a personal connection between myself and Yume Art. So I'm absolutely in love with her, and I will continue to support her as an artist in any way I can. And on top of that, I love her artwork. And I love her artwork as done in diamond paintings through Diamond Art Club. And I feel like Diamond Art Club has been releasing more and more Yume art recently over the past, well, I guess this year. I've just seen her artwork pop up, every couple of releases, whereas I haven't seen quite as much from Ivy Dollamore this year. So I just happen to own more Yume because there's more out there. I'd say Ivy Dollamore is probably a second, and then Henry Clive is probably my third most owned artwork or kits. So yeah, love you, Yume. Let's see. What is your go-to wax when diamond painting? None. I love shops. Once again, I don't need to offer a justification or preamble. You all know that I support lots of shops, but I don't do well with wax. The only wax that I do enjoy is the plain old Diamond Art Club pink wax, or blue wax, or purple wax, that kind of artificial plasticky wax that comes in a lot of diamond paintings. I like that wax. But I haven't found a single like wax-based, beeswax or whatever some shops use. I've never found a single one that works for me because I am a very heavy placer. And when it comes to loading up my pen, so heavy placer, what I found is I always get waxy residue on my drills. The wax will pop out. It tends to dull the drills. They always have a little bit of something on them. So I've never found one that works for me long term. There was a point where I was really trying to force it to happen with a particular shop because I really wanted to love their product because I love them. So I would load my pen with wax and then take a lighter. I have metal stainless steel tips and heat them up so it would melt the wax inside the pen, get it nice and liquidy in there, and then let it cool and dry. And that actually worked okay because it was kind of adhered to the sides of the pen tip a little bit better. But to have to sit there and like have a lighter on hand, blah, blah, blah. I guess I'm also a very lazy pen tip loader and putty wax person. I want it to be easy, breezy, beautiful cover girl. And I don't like to use a different product in my single or multi-placer. It has to just work for everything. And so that really narrows it down because I'm not the type of person that's like, oh, well, I put wax here, but then I put this here, and then sometimes I do this. I just want it all. I just want a product that works across the board. So no wax has ever done that for me other than just the pink heart wax, or, you know, like I said, it's more of a plasticky kind of wax. That tends to work for me as a heavy placer. However, I'm a big fan of putty. I found that putties work a lot better for me than any other waxes or glue dots or this or that. Putty's just my jam. It just works for me, and that's that. However, once again, being a super heavy placer and somebody that wants it to work in my single and my multi-placer at the same time, I had to find a putty that was just universal for me, and that is Mary Mud. Bar none, Mary Mud is just a product that I got sent some like preliminary trial versions of early on and was able to provide a little bit of feedback. And I don't know if that ever influenced things, but the final version ended up being exactly what I wanted. I wanted a semi-firm putty that would work well in my single placer. Of course, I have to like remove some of the excess as I'm single placing when I very first load because some of it pushes out. But once you get that right amount in the placer for both single and multi, I can place in excess of 1,000 drills without changing things up between my multi-placer and single placer. It just goes and goes and goes. And it just has the right amount of stick so it's not ripping drills off the canvas or anything like that. It's just, to me, it is the perfect diamond painting pen product. And that's just the honest truth. Now, of course, I've used plenty of other brands with various success. I'm really enjoying Rose Mud right now. I really like how the scent and that putty lingers, and it seems to work well with my single and multi. So there's always going to be, it's a close call, you know, because a lot of these putties are fundamentally, you know, similar products, you know. It's just some small nuances here and there that bring it home for me. I love the fact that Mary Mud has the fun colors and striping. I love the fact that Mary Mud is very consistent, if not very more generous in the amount of product that they provide. I'll be completely honest in saying that there are brands that I, out of curiosity, weighed the product with my kitchen scale because it just looked a little small to me. And so I weighed the product out of curiosity to see if it matched what the shop was, or the brand was claiming they were sending in each package, and it was consistently short, like by a pretty decent amount, which kind of surprised me. So when I take a look at just the fun factor of it looking cool, smelling cool, consistently receiving the amount, you know, that is labeled, good customer service, engaging owner, and just a personal friend too. Mary Mud is what I will continue to come back to as long as she makes it. I did get a little carried away with purchasing every single scent from every release if I was online during launch. So now that I'm sitting around with like about 80 to 100 Mary Muds and they last so long, I had to give myself a little bit of a reality check of like, I don't think I can keep collecting it just for collecting's sake. I want to use through some of the stuff I have, especially like the ones that I got like when the product was first released. So that's what I'm working on now, is just getting through like some of my Christmas stuff before I keep going nuts. But I do try to keep an eye on new releases to see if there's like scents that I absolutely must have. But I have scaled my obsessive collecting down a little bit. But I'll continue, supporting Mary and her product in different ways, showing it on my channel, mentioning it just like here, that type of stuff. But Mary Mud is universally perfect for me as a fairly heavy placer that does not like to have a different product in my tips. I like a one and done, one diamond painting session, one product, fun colors, awesome scents, and yeah, that's that. So, okay. Love you, Mary, as well. You, May, and Mary, shout outs. Okay, moving on. What do you do with your finished diamond paintings? Do you hang them up, put them in a portfolio, or something else? This is question number 10. I don't have a portfolio. I tend to want to only have kits in my stash that I'm willing to or wanting to hang up and display, or I have the intention on giving them as a gift. So I hang up the majority of my kits. I have 2 in my kitchen. I've got Composition Monumental in my kitchen. And then I also have masks, that WT Benda kit those are both from Distracted by Diamonds. Those are both hanging in my kitchen. I don't pay for framing, at least not yet. I just paint the borders with either a gloss or matte black paint and hang them up on my wall with command strips, and they're good to go. In the bathroom, I have Marie Laveau from Distracted by Diamonds on one side of the sink, or the medicine cabinet. And then on the other side, I have Beautifully Broken, because those are both perfect square canvases, so they look good kind of next to each other. And so I have those. And then in my bedroom, I have Winter by Alphonse Mucha and Diamond Painting Shop. And then in my craft room / office, I have Medusa, I have Astrid, I have Self-Portrait of Mrs. Alan Bott, which is like Tamara de Limpica, or it's called Self-Portrait. Mrs. Alan Bott's a separate kit. It's called Self-Portrait. It's Tamara de Limpica sitting in a Bugatti. I have Her Summoning, and then the other 3 Ivy Dolomores, Midnight Laundromat, Moon Thief, and whatever the other one is, Cauldron of Myrrh. Those are all of those are in my diamond painting room. And then in my, let me let you off again, sorry. Got distracted by diamonds. Okay, and then at the office at work, I have Polani, I have Lady with the Fan, and I have Star Maker at my office. So that's all of my displayed diamond paintings. Any other kits that I have that I finished either are given away as gifts. I have a couple of them rolled up in like the blueprint tubes that you can get off of Amazon. They're basically similar to the ones that Craftably has, but they're from Amazon. They're black and they're much less expensive. I think you get 3 for $12. So I have a couple of kits in there until either I can find someone to give them away to, or hey, easy, Apollo. Why are you going this way? Nope, that's barbed wire. You can't go that way. Let's go. Or if I ever decide to sell them somehow, I don't know. But they're nice enough that I don't want to just toss them. And my a third thing that I do with a finished kit is and I'm sure this is going to make people cringe, but I will throw them away. A lot of times, I love this craft for the process a lot of times more than anything else. I love it because it gives me something to share with everyone, so it's more about the opportunity to talk about it. And if it's not something that I'm 100% willing to display at some point or give away, then I have no qualms with throwing it away. And it doesn't mean it's a bad kit or a bad finish or anything like that. It's just there's only so much wall space, and maybe I wanted to do something for the fun of it and not to display it. But I'm also not someone that likes to hang on to, I don't like to amass too much stuff too much. I guess I do, but then I hit a breaking point where I'm like, I'm drowning in things, get it all out of here, which is like one of the reasons I did a de-stash. It's one of the reasons why I'm not buying as much like putties and muds and stuff. Apollo, hey, this way. Apollo. Hold on, there we go. He took the wrong turn. I'm like, where are you going, dude? This way, baby. Hi. So I will throw them away. I threw away, and once again, no disrespect to these shops. It's just, I did display a couple of them for a while, and then I got rid of them. But I guess I didn't throw this away. I gave away Rainbow Unicorn from Mooney Maid to my coworker. And so she has that pinned up at her cubicle. I gave away my Stormtrooper one. That's another coworker took that one. And those were all just the stuff I did either for event or for fun. But there was like another mini kit that I did that I ended up throwing away. I don't remember. Oh, it's also from Mooney. Oh, sorry. Okay, Rainbow Unicorn was from Diamond Art Club. And that was a Pixie Sticks image, I believe. That one I gave away, so it's still hanging up. But the Star Winksy, I think it was, whatever that emoji thing was, rainbow puking emoji or whatever, I threw that away after I finished it. It was just like, can I get a kit done in a day? And I did, and it's like, well, this isn't, I'm not gonna hang this up. The other kit that I ended up getting rid of was Saved by the Flamingo. I had that hanging up in my office for a little while. I didn't have any takers for anyone to take it, and so I ended up throwing that one away. But, it is what it is. It's just based off of personal preference. It had nothing to do with the kit itself. It was just like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this now. So they'll do their tours, being displayed at various places, and then if I don't want to hold on to it, then I let it go. But I have saved a couple of kits that I do want to eventually find a home for. I think they're kind of timeless and they might mean something to me. But some other ones I'm okay with letting go of. It is trash, it is waste, but at the end of the day, it will all be anyway. At some point when I either give up this craft or get called when I pass away, for a lack of a better term. I don't expect my children or friends or whoever to keep these plastic beads on a canvas forever and ever. Like, eventually they will make their way to the trash. So yeah, it's just not something I ever really worry about. If I was that concerned with the waste part of it, then I probably wouldn't be diamond painting at all. So, okay, anyway. Number 11, do you like to open your kits right away, or do you keep them sealed until you are ready to work on them? Okay. I don't open them, I guess for the sake of only being given those options, I open them right away. Because I do unboxings in the content creation side of things, I will open a kit and do an unboxing before I ever get a chance to work on it. That's just kind of the nature of some of the type of video that people really like in this craft, is seeing unboxings. So yeah, I will absolutely open something well before I ever get to working on it. However, I wait until I need to film a few unboxings before I dive in. So it's not like I get a Diamond Art Club shipment or anything like that in the mail and immediately grab the camera and unbox it. There's plenty of kits in my stash that I have yet to film unboxings of because I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So I'd say probably at this stage, probably about 40% of the kits I have in my stash have never been opened because I haven't needed to open them, but eventually they all will be opened unless I destash some beforehand, which did happen. I had a bunch of kits that I sent out in destash that I was like, I never even got a chance to like share this on my channel. I'm like, it's fine. It's okay. So yeah, I guess I open them right away. I certainly don't wait until I start working on them because by that time I should have done an unboxing. So that's kind of where I am with that. La da da. Apollo, why are you liking barbed wire so much today? Why is that calling to you? Come on, let's go. Let's go, big boy. Whoa, that really zoomed in. Okay. 12. What is your number one unicorn kit that you currently do not own but hope to one day? I thought I had an answer for this because I had read the questions before listening through to all of Rachel Ray's responses. I just heard her call me out and I was like, wait, what's this? She just said my name and she tagged me. So then she didn't type out the questions. So then I went to Miss Coffee's video to watch hers and read the questions in the description. And so I had already come up with something I wanted to use for this. And then I went back to Rachel's video and finished it yesterday. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that there was a very specific meaning for the term unicorn. So I had come up with some answers of like kits that I hope to obtain someday, but they are not in any way, oh, there's gonna be a big old pit of water coming up. Apollo, easy, stay, easy, Apollo, you're still moving. Thank you, baby. Okay. I just took that to mean like any kit that I hope to have one day, but it wasn't tied to like how hard it would be to get said kit. Everything that I currently have on my wish list is stuff that I could just get. So I don't have a unicorn kit. I guess the true meaning of that is a kit that you would have to go to extraneous lengths to obtain, either by purchasing from a third-party seller at an exorbitant price or waiting a really long time for. It's essentially something that is either no longer in production or rarely comes up and is valued much higher than like something, a more normal product. So I didn't really think about that. So I don't really have one, but I will say that I did get the one that I wanted already. The only kit that I've ever wanted that I guess would fall into that unicorn category is the mystery kit from Ivy Dollamore. That's a kit that's no longer in production and it had already gone out of production, I think shortly after I started diamond painting. I think it was like right around the same time I discovered Diamond Art Club. But I think even then it was sold out at that time. So I never had the chance to purchase it because I started diamond painting after it was already gone. But I was able to find somebody on a D-stash group that was willing to sell it to me at an incredibly reasonable price. I think I paid what they paid for it. So I didn't get any sort of price gouging or anything like that. I know at the time it was a really polarizing kit, A, because it had a male in it, and B, it was like a little bit more on like kind of the creating spells and love potions kind of thing, which in the moment I was like, okay, that's understandable. I could see why certain folks, you know, with certain beliefs might not want that. But then I look at like a lot of the images that are like around Halloween and stuff, and they're all very kind of witchy and spell-based and casting magic. You know, a lot of times the Diamond Art Club pieces will have those like spirals of like white AB or whatever and people call it the magic. And I'm like, why is it okay for women to be casting spells and have their spell books out and their candles and all of that stuff, but you put a guy on it and suddenly it's like how dare you? It's just like, I don't know. So it made me love that kit even more that people were so up in arms about it. It was like, I have to have this now. And it was right around the time that I was falling in love with Ivy Dollamore. So I was like, yeah, I need all of the Ivy Dollamore kits. And so I got to get that one. So that was my unicorn. I no longer have one technically, but if I can adjust the question to be which kits do I have on my wish list that once I can convince myself to spend the money, I will. I have an image of Apollo that I'd like to be done as a custom. I have 4 images from the same kind of series of artwork from Hieronymus Bosch that I'd like to get from Jade. I already have the center one. I just need the other 4. And probably a couple more images from Hannah over at Iterations Crafts are on my wish list of, get these sooner than later. But other than that, that's all I really have. I don't have a quote unquote unicorn because I can get all of those kits from Jade pretty easily. So yeah, no unicorns for me. I'm not a Mandy Manzano person. I'm not a Princess Panel person. So yeah, I just get whatever strikes my fancy, I suppose. But yeah, I'm not hunting for anything by any means. Hold on. I was just gonna rave about this sunscreen not stinging my eyes, and lo and behold, here it is, stinging my eyes. That's a bummer. Okay, next up, 13. What is the kit in your stash you are most looking forward to working on? Geez. I love them all. After my D-stash, that's what I love them all. I can't wait to start working on all of them. Gosh, let me get my Google Keep out. Which one am I excited to work on most? Hold on. I can do this for you. Ooh, that's a good option. You know what? I'm gonna stick. Oh, jeez, this is hard. Oh gosh, this is hard. I don't have a good answer for you. You know what? I'm just gonna say there are a lot of them. I mean, I'm scrolling through and I'm like, I love this. I want to start on this. I love this. Let me pick one that's an older kit, or older to me as in it's been in my stash for a long time. And every time I see it, I'm like, why don't I just do this? So this is the portrait of Mrs. Allen Bott from Tamara de Lempicka in Distracted by Diamonds. Here's the picture of it. It's this gorgeous kind of like Art Deco 1920s, super glitz and glam woman. And in the background are all the like kind of New York or Chicago buildings in the background. I think it's just a stunning image. And I think I'm gonna be able to really enhance that to the gods with a lot of sparklers and metallics and just make that thing just come to life. It's like every time I see it, I see more that I wanna enhance. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the majority of that kit ends up being enhancement drills for me because of just how much opportunity there is there. So I'd say that's probably one that I'm really, really looking forward to. Now, does it mean it'll be the next one I work on? No, it's really big and I always push it to the side because I always have a giant square that I'm working on. So usually, and maybe this is a future question, but anyway, it just gets pushed to the side for one reason or another. But when it finally does happen, it's going to be epic. So get ready for that. So Portrait of Mrs. Allen Bott, Tamara de Lempicka, and Distracted by Diamonds. It's a 60 by 102 centimeter round with 35 colors. And I don't ever put purchase dates on my stuff. So I don't know exactly when I bought it, but I want to say maybe May or June of last year. So, okay, moving on. Do you want to go up here? Let's go up here. There's not very many people out here today. Do you prefer confetti, color blocking, or a mix of both? And this is question number 14. Come on, buddy. Come on. Color blocking, confetti, mix of both. Question 14. For me, it's a mix of both. I don't really necessarily have a preference. I almost feel like I have a need for both. I have to have both because huge sections of color blocking, while I love them for a while, if I'm doing like, come on, let's go, focus up, come on, let's go. There's a dog like way behind us that he's getting distracted by. So he's making me drag him up this hill. I do like sections of color blocking dispersed throughout a kit, but I find myself getting bored if it's like huge section after section after section of the same color. That can almost actually slow me down more than speed things up, because I'll do like 50 drills or 100 drills of the same color. I'm like, okay, let me get up and go to the bathroom, check in on Apollo, come back, sit down, do another 100 or so, and be like, okay, get up. So I'm not as good as maybe other people are with powering through giant sections of color blocking. And also it's because the maximum I use is a 7 placer. I get really sloppy with anything bigger, and I find myself having to adjust just as much as it would have taken me to do 2 7 sections than to try to drop 12 or even 10. So 7 is my max. Although I will say, working with the Forever Sticky Tips from Jaded Gem Shop, that 7 placer is like my new holy grail multi-placer. I can just go and go and go and not have to fuss with mud, reload. I can just knock it out. That's probably, I'll talk about it after we're done with this, but anyway, remind future Anthony to talk about future video plans, because I've got a couple. But anyway, so I like a good bit of color blocking mixed with some confetti here and there. So like 10 colors of confetti and then 100 drills of one color, and then back to some confetti, back and forth. And I like when color blocking is in like rows of 3 or 4 or 2, 3, and 4, because then I can crank it out with my like 5 placer and be good to go. So that's kind of what I like. I like mild color blocking and moderate confetti. Confetti does keep me more engaged with a kit, and it feels more like a puzzle, but I get really anxious towards the end of a section that had a bunch of confetti, where I've got like 20 colors that there's just a single drill, and it's nothing more than like the switching of the tray. I'm like, come on. So I'm like, put one color away. I need to be better about just sticking like my finger in the container or something to grab 1 or 2, but I rarely do that, because muscle memory is grab the container, dump the drills into the tray and go for it. I don't measure out drills based on how many symbols are on the canvas. I just dump them all in there. Even if I only needed 5, all 1,400 or however much fits in the container go in there. So I need to be better about that, because that would save me some time. But yeah, at a certain point, confetti does get a little bit taxing towards the end, where I just want to be done for the night or done for the day. And I've got like 10 or 15 colors where it's just like 1 anchor symbol, 1 triangle symbol. I'm like, come on, these are all similar shades. But other than that, when it all comes together, it's so worth it. So yeah, I like a good blend. Let's see. 15, how do you pick which piece you want to work on next? My answer would have been different 2 or 3 months ago or 4 months ago than it is now. My old Anthony would have said it's purely based on events, or if I have some sort of project or partnership with a shop that I feel some sort of obligation to, those are always going to take priority before anything else. So that would be my old answer, but my current response would be it's a lot of it's going to be based now off of what I already have in my storage trunk. If you're not super familiar with how I used to do my unboxings, I would unbox it, read everyone all the DMCs, put the drills and the sticker sheet and any accoutrement in a big gallon Ziploc bag and throw it in this trunk. And that trunk lived under my crafting table. But the trunk got so full it started to overfill, and I did not want to buy a second trunk. So I made the decision to just start boxing everything back up in the diamond painting boxes and saving the boxes, because I used to throw away all my boxes, hang up the canvas, put the rest in the trunk. But now I save all my boxes until I finish the kit, actually. Then I'll throw away the box. But so I just want to get rid of that trunk. I'm sick of seeing it. It's just a reminder of times when I wasn't properly unboxing my stuff, and it just takes up a lot of space. It's like a big, like, locker style trunk, a big black trunk with wheels. Hold on just a second. Okie dokie. Sorry, just wanted to make sure we weren't gonna cross paths there. So yeah, right now, the first place I look for a potential new kit to start is it open? Is it in the trunk? And do I want to do one of those? So I go there first because I just want to clear out everything that's in that trunk. That'll also mean that I clear out all the canvases that are hanging in my closet, and it'll just free up a lot of space. I can get rid of that trunk. I can finally put my legs all the way underneath me on the table and just be more comfortable, and not feel overwhelmed by where all of my stuff is. So that's where I start. If there's a kit that's already been, that I can take from the trunk of doom, then I will do it. If there isn't anything in there in the moment that's really striking my fancy, it's purely based off of, next up would be, is it a square or is it a round? This might be a future question, so I'm going to leave that at that. But anyway, I start with what's in the trunk of doom, and then there's another step in between, but at the end of the day, it really just depends on my mood, how I'm feeling, lots of different things. If I'm working on a kit, I think these are all future questions, so I'm gonna leave it at that. But yeah, it just depends on other circumstances within, with my current whips. I don't think I will be focusing on working on a kit for a particular event going forward. If the stars align, like for instance, what is it? What's the Halloween event? Why am I blanking on that? Festival of Witches, but I think the name of that's changing. What's the other one? Oh, Katie's gonna kill me. Drills and Chills. Drills and Chills. So yeah, I mean, the stars will align for that. That's a big event. I have plenty of kits that I could do for it. I'll make that happen. But other than that, it's just like, I don't know. I just go for what I want, what just feels right, looks right. Also, how long I've had the kit. I tend to try to work on, this isn't always the case, but if I had my druthers, I would pick some, oldest to newest, or try to look at the oldest ones first. But there's no, the true answer is there's no real rhyme or reason. It's just, I just grab something. Size of the kit matters. If I'm working on a really big kit and I want to work on something else, I'll usually pick something more medium size. I think these are all future questions, so let's just get to it. Okay, next up. 16. What is your favorite season or holiday to diamond paint from? None, really. I will do drills. I like doing drills and chills just because it is like the event of the year. But it's not necessarily because I love Halloween or spooky season. I honestly, I am just a generally spooky, weird, macabre person all year round. Like, I don't need a holiday for that. So it's not like I suddenly like come to life during that time of that season.
I know a lot of people love it. I love it, but it's just not, I wouldn't say it's my favorite. Also, I'm just not a seasonal picture kind of person. This might upset people, but I tend to find like the Christmas images, Easter images, all of that stuff, it's nothing that I would hang up. I don't want to go so far as to call them tacky, because there certainly are some that are really beautiful, but it's just not for me. It's not something that I have a particular interest in. So I don't really have a season. So maybe this is the one that I have no straight answer for you. I don't have a season or time of year or anything. The only thing that I guess I can say is I love summer, because that's when Summer with the Masters is, and that's my old Masters season. So I don't think that's not the question that was being asked, but it's the answer I'm gonna give. I like summer because of old Masters. Okay. Do you work on one kit at a time or have multiple whips at once? Multiple whips. I got to do it. I have to at least have two, and 2+. I always have to have a round drill and a square drill going, which leads to, I think, another question, but the answer to that is multiple, at least two. And I like having varying sizes of kits as opposed to like two giant big old kits. I like to have a couple so it feels like I'm making progress. I guess this is also another question. Right now I currently have 7 whips, and I guess we can go through them. I have a Senorita by Jaded Gem Shop, and the artist is Henry Clive. I have Moussenet Laubmoose by Ernst Haeckel. That is my cross-stitch conversion for Summer with the Masters, and that's from Jaded Gem Shop. I have it's Darth Vader, or Vader. It is a quote-unquote Mandy Manzano princess panel, but he's not a princess. Maybe he is, I don't know. The canvas is from Heaven and Earth Designs. The drills are from Francesca's Studios work. And then that's 3. Then I have Transparent by Yume Art from Diamond Art Club. I have, that's 4, right? Oh no, what am I missing? Oh, I have a kit that I guess I can still call it a whip. I have McKeeling from DIY Moon Shop. The artist is DJ Paeste. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with that one. I'll call it a whip for now. I don't think I'll ever work on it again, but it's a whip. And then I have 2 kits that are kitted up, but I have never put any drills on them. One of them is my mystery kit. The artist is Iterations Crafts, and that's from Jaded Gem Shop. And then I have Sunset Crossing, and that is, I forget who the artist is. Is it Will Cormier, maybe? I don't know who the artist is, but that's from Craftably. So those 2 kits are not, I do call them whips, but I've never actually worked on them. They're just kitted up, ready to go. So 5 with drills, 2 without. So I was at as high as 10, I think, at one point, but I have been focusing on trying to whittle that down. But it's really hard because I obsessively purchased storage containers or kits when they were on sale or when a new size came out. So I have enough drill storage containers to probably have like 15 whips going at any given time. So it's hard for me to just sit there with a bunch of empty storage containers, like a lot of empty storage containers, but I'm trying to pace myself because I also find that I get overwhelmed when I have a bunch of in-progress kits all around me. Like if I can physically see them, that freaks me out. So I have been keeping a lot of my whips in the closet now and just having the one that I'm currently working out on display or in front of me, because I used to hang them up where your curtains go. I would hang them on those little posts. I'd hang them on my door. I'd have them sitting on my table. I'd hang them on the trim around the closets. Like I'd hang them all over. And at a certain point when you've got like 7 unfinished kits just staring at you, it started to freak me out. Like, oh my gosh, I'm not making any progress on anything. So I have to put them away and hide them from myself. But I've been getting better about not kitting up something new until after something's done, or even after a couple of are done. So that's why I'm down to just 5 with drills on them. I think at one point I was like at 8 with drills on them. So any hoozlebees, multiple whips, love them. 18. Wait, yeah, 18 neutral / dark pieces or colorful pieces. Oh geez, this is another one that I like. These are starting to get harder because I have to have them both. I guess I don't have to have them. Colorful. I'm gonna say colorful. Not that I haven't done dark and neutral pieces. I mean, I did Medusa, and that was all dark and neutral is the subtitle for that kit. Lots of tans, lots of browns, lots of darker browns, grays, deep reds. Like there was rarely a pop of like bright color in that kit. Maybe some yellows or a bright green here or there, but otherwise it was doomy gloom. And I loved every second of it, but I have to have a secondary kit that offers me some excitement either in enhancement drills or in brighter colors. So I guess colorful, because that's my fallback when I'm getting tired of my neutral kits. I would not be mad if every kit I worked on just happened to be super bright and poppy, but that doesn't fall in alignment with my artwork style, like me loving old masters. A lot of times you're dealing with some neutrally muted tones for a lot of your old masters. So I don't steer away from them. I just have to have a personal balance with other kits. But I guess if I had to pick, it'd be colorful, because I can do those all day. I want to find us somewhere else to go that'll give us some more time to chat. Let's go this way, Apollo. Okay. 19. Large pieces or snack size pieces? Large, baby. I guess what your definition of large might vary. For me, I like to work on anything that's like a 50 by 70 or bigger. Even if that's like a 60 by 60, 67 by 67, which I believe is what Lady with the Fan was. Anything about that size or bigger is fine with me. Anything less than that, and I just, for whatever reason, I'm not as into it. If it gets down to like a 50 by 60 or something like that, fine. Like, I know some of those Yume art ones are a little bit smaller, portraits. I think even transparent might be around that size. But once you start, like anything smaller than like 55 by 55, I consider a snack size piece, and I'm sure that's also, some people aren't gonna like hearing that, but that's too small for me. That's when you start getting into losing out on some detail, or too much stuff has been cropped out of it for my taste. And the imagery can sometimes also be a little bit too heavy on the cartoony side once you get that small, like you're talking about literal, like, you know, kind of block kind of cartoon images, and that's not always true. But if you think about like your emoji rainbows, your unicorn rainbows, your, you know, little cutesy little things that are in those smaller sizes, that's the theme that they a lot of times can be, and it's not for me. I also like to savor working on a project to a certain extent. I like the challenge. I like seeing things come together. And also from a content standpoint, I like being able to post weeks of progress photos or a few weeks of progress photos to help tell the story of it coming together, rather than like, whoop, it's done, you know? So, yeah, I just, they're not for me. I prefer something that's at least what I call medium in my Google Keep. And that's that kind of like 50 by 70, 50 by high 60s kind of size range. That's kind of my smallest that I'll go these days. I don't really buy anything smaller. So yeah, give me just a second. Okay, moving on. Let's see. So that was question 19, the larger pieces or snack size. And I guess I can quickly, I'll give you what those mean to me so you know what my point of reference is. Because like I said, large and snack size, that's all relative to a certain extent. So I call anything 50 centimeters or less when I'm logging a kit into my stash, that's called small. And I typically, I don't have any of that size. 50 to 80 centimeters in any direction, medium. 80 to 100 centimeters in any direction, large. And 100 centimeters plus in any direction, I call extra large. So yeah, basically 50 centimeters to 80 centimeters in any direction is kind of my minimum that I'll purchase. Okay, moving on. Number 20, place diamonds with tweezers or a pen. I read that and I was like, who's using tweezers? I've never attempted it. It don't make no sense to me. I know people do it. I just don't understand it, I guess, is the problem. I think for me, it's like, okay, so if you're grabbing a square by it with its, you're tweezing the square, you go to place it from your diamond painting tray onto your canvas. Isn't the square between what you have in your tweezers and what's already on the canvas, isn't there going to be a gap there because the tweezer's in the way? Like, don't you have to push that over? I just don't understand the physics. I think it's very admirable that people can place in different ways. I just wouldn't even, I have no issue using a pen. I find myself to be just fine, just as proficient, or plenty proficient in my own eyes, placing. I'm not going to try to reinvent the wheel on that one. So pen, 100% pen. And there's so many cool pens out there. So pen all day long. I think, well, we'll get to it. But I think one of my diamond painting pals, Jeffrey Morrison, I think I've seen him using tweezers before. I might have to ask him what his problem is. I'm just kidding. Next one, number 21, squares or rounds. Both. I have to have both. I think that might come to the end of the ones that might trip me up. But when I'm looking at what I have that I'm focusing on, I'm always try to find a blend of a large kit and a smaller kit for me. I always have to have one square and one round going because sometimes I get frustrated with squares and how slow they move for me. So I move to my round kit because I feel like I'm making good progress. I tend to find it easier to enhance round drill canvases because I almost exclusively use sparklers from DP with sparklers, and those come in rounds. Now they do come in squares. They do come in a size 4 square drill canvases, but it's just a smaller round drill. And I am about to venture into putting round drills on a square canvas soon, but historically, I typically will enhance my round drill kits more than anything else. There's been a couple instances where I've had some crystals or some glitter drills that were square that I used, but I love sparklers, and sparklers are more commonly known to me as being in round. So I like having one kit that I can doll up and I'm playing with and having some fun with, and then my square drill kit's my straight lace, no nonsense kit. So I almost have to have both. I've tried working on just a square drill canvas, and I used to. When I first started diamond painting, I was under the impression that squares were the best because they have more detail. And so I had it in my head that I would never do round kits after my very first kit. Oh, wasn't that a question that, like, what was your first kit? Hold on. Are we getting there? What do you, I know? No, that wasn't a kit, or that wasn't a question. I thought it was. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on, and now I'm having to go back to... No, I guess it wasn't. Huh. Hold on. Say hi. Right. Say hi. Hi. Let's go.
How much?
Let's go. Hey, buddy. You want to play with the other dog so bad today. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. I'm going to have to cut that awkward pause out. I could have sworn that one of the questions was, what was the very first diamond painting that you completed? I'm not seeing it on the list. Apollo, come on. I thought that Mrs. Coffee had shown her first diamond painting that she completed, but I guess it's not there. Anyway, gosh, now I need to go back to the question at hand. That like totally threw me off. I'm like, wait, did I miss one? I don't think I did. Squares or rounds? Okay, so we talked about that. Yeah, so I was talking about how my very first kit, I was gonna say my very first kit was a round. Then I discovered diamond painting YouTube, and one of the videos I think that Katie over at Diamonds and Washi did, or one of the first ones I saw was, which is better rounds or squares, and I think she had like compared to kits, or maybe it was Rachel, I'm not sure, it was a long time ago. But at the end of the video, I was convinced that squares were better, more detail, and I was up for the challenge. So I switched to only doing squares. Like I did Soul of the Rose, Midnight Laundromat, I think maybe one other. Oh, my second kit that I ever did was this giant 60 by 120 from Diamond Painting Deutschland that was all squares. I single placed that entire thing. So I was just convinced that squares were it for me. But then I started to get burned out by squares. And so I did my first professional or like high quality round kit, which was I think called the Captain from Diamond Art Club. Let me see if I can find it. The Captain. Here's all my finishes. The Captain. This was by Tony Sanchez. You can see that. So that was the first round drill I did from like what I'd call like a high quality company, and I fell in love with it, and I fell in love with the color blocking in that moment because I had just finished Soul of the Rose, and so I was just like, yes. So I fell in love with rounds just as much as squares, and ever since then I've been doing a combination of both, or almost need to have both. So yeah, both are equally important to me. I lean on both of them at any given time. So, okay. 22. What is your favorite method for placing AB drills? I don't have one. Like I said, I am lazy when it comes to my placing. I don't like to have to jump through hoops or do a dance to get my drills down on the canvas. I want to find one diamond painting pen with a single placer on one side and a good sized multi-placer on the other. Okay, we are back. Sorry, ran out of battery, but I've got it back up. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, 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 go. Anyway, I was saying I'm a lazy placer. I don't like switching out pens in the middle of a diamond painting session. I like to just use what I have in my hand the whole time for any drill, anything. And so I use the everlasting, oh no, I switched to, I use an everlasting tip for my single placer, and then I use a thin metal multi-placer. I don't know if there's a particular brand, but it's the ones that Katie over at Diamonds and Washi uses. She sent me a link for them, or she shared a link in one of her videos. I love those pens. I love the uber thin metal placers. So that's what I use almost exclusively. And though I think the Forever Sticky Tips use that same placer. And yeah, and I almost exclusively use Mary Mud. I have been playing with, like I said, the 7 placer in the Forever Sticky Tip from Jaded Gem Shop, but I only really use that when I've got a big old section of color blocking. But if I've got a smaller amount of color blocking or more confetti, I have a 5 placer and a single placer. Those are my go-to tip sizes. And 99% of the time I'm using Mary Mud. It works with any type of drill under the sun for me. Regular drill, glitter drill, the occasional crystal drill that'll have sparklers, especially ABs. I don't have to switch my method when I transition in and out of my specialty drills. I do the same thing as I do for anything else. And if I was using a pen tip or product that was getting in the way of that, where like, oh, it only works with ABs, or it doesn't work with ABs, or crystals hate it, I probably wouldn't use it, because once again, I'm a lazy placer. It's just got to work for everything. I want a high impact of like efficiency when I'm diamond painting. So anyway, okay. 23, what is your preferred method of sectioning off a canvas? Oh, I exclusively use release paper. I tried doing the washi tape method at one point, but I found it to, for whatever reason, I just felt like it was going to end up being too expensive in the long run to do that, or I found it to be a little wasteful for some reason. Well, I know why, is because I started buying bougie washi tapes, and I was like, you mean to tell me I have to like use 2 rolls of washi tape to get this canvas done? No, thank you. So I use the silicone coated double-sided release papers. I bought 2 packs of them off of Amazon, like a year ago, maybe longer, and I haven't had to buy any more ever since. I haven't had to buy any more. They go and they go and they go. Sometimes I will throw them out if sometimes they'll curl up too much. Like if I've left them on a canvas too long and I peel them off, they'll like curl and it's harder to get them to lie flat. Or if I've somehow bent them to the point that they're just annoying to reuse. Sometimes I also use them to get rid of my excess putty on my diamond painting pens, so I'll stab them with my pen tips to get the excess off. And so if they're all stabby and full of and have like wax or putty streaks on them, or wax streaks, I'll throw them away, or I'll save them as my stabby sheet. But I think I bought like a pack of 200 of them in like May of 2022, and that's the last time I've purchased release papers. So that's it. That was a one and done for me. I love the ones that have the cool patterns and stuff on them. I think those are really unique and interesting, but that's not a personal must-have for me as far as accessories. I don't need them to have a fancy pattern. And like I said, I just couldn't get over how much washi tape I'd have to use to section off a canvas. I know a lot of people do it. I think it's a really smart way. It's just not the way I like. So essentially what I'll do is I take the plastic cover paper, I peel it up high enough that I can get a line of release paper down all across the canvas, and then I just let that flip back over. And then when I'm ready to start on that first section, I lift that cover paper back, I pin it back with a cover minder, or I just set my drill storage on top of it to hold it back. And then I just work on that one section until it's done. And then the cover paper just flips back down. And I do that until the whole column or row's done. And then I take some scissors and I snip off the cover paper from the part that's been finished, peel it up, do the next row. So it's just kind of boom, boom, boom all the way up. So that seems to really work for me. And like I said, that silicone release paper, as far as the brand that I've used, I've never run into it wearing down or becoming non-release. And I love it because it's double-sided. I don't have to think about, whoop, that side doesn't have the silicone on it. So I like that. Anyway, all right. Number 24. Do you have any other crafty hobbies aside from diamond painting? No. This is like really, to be absolutely honest, the first craft that I've ever like done in earnest. Like, I guess I would color and stuff as a kid, but as an adult, and even that, when I was a kid, I was much more into building things. Like I said, the Legos, the Connects, all that stuff, that was much more interesting to me than coloring or that type of stuff. And as an adult, absolutely not. I was always a video game person, PC or otherwise. I've always been an relatively outdoorsy person, at least for the past like 10, 15 years. An outdoorsy person, camping, hiking, being out in nature is really enjoyable to me. So this honestly is the first quote unquote craft that I've picked up for longer than like an hour or 2 hours. It had never been a thing. So yeah, I don't have any other crafts, but if we want to talk hobbies, I love hiking. I love general walking. I do still like video games, even though I almost always pick diamond painting over video games these days. But yeah, I don't really have a lot of those extracurriculars that I take on too often. A lot of the stuff that I do requires a lot of time. And so, yeah, I just don't have a lot. And I have a pretty active social life. I'm almost always doing something with friends, roommates, family. I'd say more days than not, in some form or fashion. And so I just don't leave myself a lot of time to delve into crafts. So maybe, things will change as my life and lifestyle changes. But for now, diamond painting's really it. And it's really the only thing I've ever done. Oh, I guess skincare. Skincare is a hobby, I guess, of mine, interest of mine. I do spend a lot of time researching skincare products and ingredients. I do try to take some time every morning to do my morning routine, hydrate and sunscreen every 2 hours throughout the day, which we are at an hour and 20 minutes. Well, it's starting to get dark. Apollo, stop. Easy. Good boy, good boy. You gotta listen. Thank you. Hold on just a tick. Okay, sorry. Apollo met a buddy. Hi, come here. Hi, hi, hi. Hi, come here. Apollo. Oh my gosh, he's gonna be so tired. Sorry, I'm gonna have to cut some of this out, but he met a buddy and they're just going to town. Apollo, come on. Let's go. Apollo, this way. Let's go. Come here. Come on. Let's go. Sorry. Come on. Was that a good play? Was that a good play? Oh, you did good. Okay, I'll have to cut a lot of that out. But we passed by somebody and their dog was off leash, as they should be. It's an off leash dog park, but the dog just came bolting towards me and Apollo, and the owner, the guy was yelling at his dog like, "Hey, stop, come here." He was doing what I do, and it's so good to see that other people have the same struggle. It's like, "Hey, no, stop." And Apollo was on his leash just because we had passed by somebody else. And so I let Apollo, I was like, all right, if this dog is in the same mindset of like, let's go, let's play, that's what I want. I want to see that in other dogs, even though it might be fostering their bad behavior. But that at least lets me know like this dog isn't going to freak out, you know, by Apollo being an aggressive player. So I let him off his leash, and they just went to town for a few minutes, just chasing each other back and forth and wagging their tails and loving on each other. And so I just told the guy, I was like, it's totally fine if you're fine hanging out for a little bit while they get their energy out, like he needs it. And so the dogs were about the same age. And so they just were sprinting back and forth between me and that guy. And so they just when I turned that clip back on to tell you all what was happening, Apollo came back to me, which is very sweet. So he kind of got the social cue that we were done. Come on, buddy. Oh, you did great. You're gonna have to get extra treats. Yeah, well, not right now. Sorry, did I say the T word? Good boy, good boy. I have no freaking idea what we were talking about. Well, hold on. Oh, hobbies. Yeah, the content creation is a hobby. I'd say that that's one of my longest running hobbies if I think about it that way. I love sharing my life with everyone. I've been saying I'm lucky enough to have more of a lifestyle kind of bent on things as opposed to it being siloed into like just sitting and doing a whip and chat. In fact, it's rare that you'll see me do one of those these days. Apollo, easy, come here, come here, this way. Apollo, come here. He knows that I'm trying to keep him from the mud. He's like, oh, there must be trouble nearby. There's a big old mud pit up here that I would prefer him not jumping into. Let's go. This way. This way. Apollo. Apollo. Let's go. Come on, butt. Puka butt. This way. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Sorry, let me try to distract him. He's standing right next to this pool of disgusting mud water looking at me like, should I do it? Should I not do it? Let's go. Up, up. Just hopefully get far enough away from him. Anyway, so content creation is, I'd say, my other hobby. Hope that counts. And I think we're to our last question. Who do you tag to do this video? Interesting. I haven't really thought about that. Apollo, come on. Of course, I have a couple people in mind. I just don't know who else has been tagged. So what I'm gonna do is go to my subscribers, or who I'm subscribed to, and just look through. I definitely want to tag Jeffrey Morrison over at Echoes of Color. Super cool content creator. There's not a ton of guy or male diamond painters out there. There are, but I'd say we're relatively few and far between. And we have similar interests. He is kind of sci-fi book reader, as am I. And we did a walking challenge together. We just finished that fairly recently. So it'd be cool to kind of hear some of his responses. So tagging Jeffrey Morrison. I'm going to tag Mia. She is an awesome content creator. I'm sure she may have already been tagged on this, but I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go ahead and tag Diamond Painting with the Besties, Miranda. I'm sure she's already been tagged because I think Christopher, one of her good friends, awesome content creator, another guy out there, I think he was tagged by Miss Coffee, and I would only assume that he would tag one of his besties, Miranda, but I'm going to put him on there as well. Mary making crafts. Mary, I know that she's got a lot of stuff going on. Apollo, let's go. I know that she's got a lot of stuff going on, and I'm sure she announced it. Yes, I did see it on Instagram. She's expecting, so she's got a lot of stuff going on. But Mary, if you've got some time, I'd love to hear your responses. Let's see. Let's also throw, let me see, let's get wild. Let's see if I can get some folks that I don't really engage with a ton, but might as well. Joan at Joan Diamond Paints. I love Joan's content. She is, oh my gosh, look at how muddy he got. Apollo, what the heck? Yeah, I wish you could shake all of that off. He looks like he's like a two-tone dog now. Luckily, dirt tends to come off of him pretty well. Were you playing in the mud? Yeah, I love Joan's content. Joan is where I go. If I am gonna watch YouTube while diamond painting, I like to have a longer video, and her voice I find to be really soothing. She talks a lot about at work when they're dealing with new recruitments, and I am a recruiter, so it's kind of funny to hear the opposite side of like the frustration around trying to find hires. And I'm like, yeah, I'm there with you. Don't get mad at us recruiters. We're doing the best that we can. So I love hearing it, and I also love listening to Joan try to decide if a shade of a DMC color in her drill storage matches another one, and deciding whether or not to like keep it, create a new baggie, mix the two, so it'll be like 666 from different kits, and she's trying to figure out if the shade is close enough. And I feel like when she first started doing that, or at least when I first started watching her do that, she was being a little bit more particular about like, this is slightly less red, slightly more red, slightly less beige. And I feel like the longer that she's gone on, it's just like, close enough. And I totally do that too. I used to be really picky. Like if I was kitting down and a shade, like let's say I was grabbing 937, and if it wasn't quite right, I would throw the ones that I was kitting down away. I'd just keep the ones that were in there because I didn't want to mix the shades. And now I'm like, at the end of the day, I would really only use, well, Joan does it differently. She uses those for her cross-stitch conversion projects, but I just use those in case of emergency. You ran out of a few drills, use these. And so for me, it's like, what's 5, 10, 20, 100 drills if they're a slightly different shade on a canvas? Like who's gonna tell, or who's gonna know? So I don't care anymore. If it says it's 939 or whatever, it's going in the 939 bucket until the 939 bucket is full, and then I don't save any more drills. They all get thrown away. So that's just how I do it. But I love the internal struggle of like, is this a close enough tan? She always makes me smile. I love listening to her channel. Anyway, enough gushing about Joan. I just wanted to put it out there that I'm not picking people completely at random. So I think that's it. Maybe I'll write down a couple more people to tag, but it's starting to rain, and I want to get back to walking quickly so I can get back to the car. I know I would have said Hannah over at Sparkling Spectrumite. I would have said Sophie at the Diamond Help Desk, but both of those creators have been tagged already. Two really awesome folks that I love dearly. There's so many people. I feel like when it comes to like tag people, it's like tag who you know, which I guess makes sense. But I encourage everyone to participate. I don't think you have to be tagged to want to share a little bit about your diamond painting journey, a little bit about yourself. If you're like, oh, I'd love to do that, but no one's tagged me, this isn't getting picked for playing dodgeball or anything like that. Like, please just do it. Like, embrace the opportunity to participate in something that's trending. Who knows, you might engage with a lot more people than you might otherwise, because people are looking for the tag videos as they start to pop up. Don't let any of that dissuade you. If if I had only kind of chained myself to creating content or picking up on things if someone had specifically asked me to, I don't think I really would have kicked off a lot of content as quickly. Or, I definitely was the type of person that kicked the door down, and I don't ask for permission. I don't ask for people to invite me in. I'm here and I'm gonna blow your socks off. So if you feel so inclined, please just do it. It is no slight if someone doesn't ask you or I didn't ask you. It's not that. I mean, if maybe at some point I could keep a running list of like every content creator or YouTube dive-in painter that I've come into contact with and just read them all out, but it would be hundreds of people, and I want you all to participate. I want to lift every single one of you up. So please just do it. Just do it. Insert your name here. I'm tagging you. Yeah. I guess I'll quickly just touch on a couple things, I guess. I'm most likely going to have to do a second video either tomorrow or something like that to do like a whip and chat style vlog where we talk about life stuff. And we've already been going for an hour and 46 minutes. If you don't know, I like recording a nice long video. It's the kind of videos I like to listen to. So yeah. And some of this will be cut out with the pauses and stuff. Apollo, we're going this way, buddy. He's in stalking mode. We're in the prairie dog community. But yeah, things are going well for me here. Last time I recorded was earlier in the week. It was a Sunday. It was the 2nd of July. We were doing a hike. But yeah, that went really well. I did see some comments, and I guess I'll just mention it here. I went on that hike originally with Apollo and his little boyfriend dog. They're just friends. His friend dog. Sometimes they hold hands. That's why I say that. But Bowie and Apollo. I went on a hike with them on July 2nd, and Bowie tapped out pretty early. He was overheating. He was having a hard time keeping up. And yeah, he is half pit bull and English bulldog, I think. So he's not a complete flat-nosed dog, but he's got just a short little snout. He's got a short snout. And I did know, I know that that breed has some breathing difficulties, but it was a walk like this, completely flat, nice breeze, low 70s. It's nothing that he hasn't done before, but I definitely was not trying to push a dog that just like can't do that stuff past his limits. If for whatever reason I didn't think he could do that hike, then I wouldn't have brought him along in the first place. And you've seen him come on other hikes with us that have actually been worse. Like I think he did this one, which is about 3 miles. So the fact that he only made it about half a mile, Apollo, easy, stay, I think maybe it was a combination of the heat or just being overly excited, also his breed. But I do think that the poor guy just needs some more walks. He is getting a little chunk bod on him. So it's a combination of a lot of things. I don't mean to fat shame Bowie, or I wasn't trying to get mad at him for being the type of dog that he is. I don't know. A couple of people mentioned that, and I was like, it kind of cut a little bit deeper than maybe I thought it would, and nobody said anything disparaging, but I was like, I love that damn dog with all my heart. If I could put him in a backpack and carry him, if that's what was necessary, I would do it. I was definitely not trying to like hurt him in any way. But going forward, I will not be bringing him on any more adventures, because I just don't. I don't want to risk his well-being or his happiness. If his ideal spot is on the couch, then that's where he needs to be, and I will give him all the treats. But also, I don't want people to be concerned, like, oh, Anthony's taking this dog that can't walk outside on an outside walk. So I'm just gonna, poor guy. I love to bring him along. I like to bring him on adventures and stuff, but I just don't. I don't want to risk any upset people, and I don't know his, his limits, or I don't know his true abilities, and also I'm not his owner, so I'm just gonna, I'll just let him do his thing. I will cuddle him and kiss him, and he can lay on me on the couch, and that'll be our time. So you probably won't be seeing Bowie anymore going forward, but that's okay. That's okay. So yeah, that's kind of something that happened. But yeah, other than that, I think I'm going to save the rest for a formal vlog. That way, we can cut this, and we're already to the car as well. So thank you so much, Rachel, for tagging me on this. The folks that I did shout out and tag, I'll go ahead and at them in the description box too. I will try to type out the questions as well, so you have those for reference. And yeah, other than that, thank you all so much for watching. I always appreciate it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this content with friends, family members, anyone that you think might take some value out of this content. Otherwise, happy placing. We'll see you next time. Bye, 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 bye. Bye.